about to read. We're on chapter 11, Video Girl. By this time, I had known most of the employees at Def Jam Records and had visited their, I can't do that, offices on Sunset Boulevard, which were perched on the top floor of the Hustler building. A girlfriend of mine and I had gone to an LL Cool J video shoot in order to meet with one of the Def Jam employees. Within seconds, my eyes landed on the person we were there to meet. We sat and talked for a few moments before another man came over and introduced himself to me. Hey, I'm Hype, he said casually. What are you doing next week? I was taken aback and wasn't quite sure who he was, yet I would answer, nothing. He continued, okay, cool. Take my number and call me. You're going to be in my next video. Get a tan. Then I realized that this was famed music video director Hype Williams. It would be my first video, and the following weekend I was on the set of Jay-Z's video for Hey Poppy. Days before arriving on the set, I called Chuck to let him know that I would be working on the video. Chuck and Jay had been good friends for years, and I wanted Jay to know that I was coming. By this time, Chuck and I were closer than ever and continued to claim each other as cousins, though we weren't blood relatives, so Chuck made the call to be sure that once on set, I would be taken care of. Call time was early, around 6 in the morning. We were on the location of Zumba Beach in Malibu, and all of the talent I had convened in the hair and makeup trailers to begin the long preparation process. I was a bundle of nerves, but tried my best to remain cool among the other girls. My heart raced, and I was excited to get up to the house where we would be working. I was anxious to meet Jay and introduce myself to him, since I was also a fan of his music. Finally, the moment arrived. We were shuttled up in a winding hill to a palatial mansion overlooking Zuma. This was my first time in the house this size in Malibu. This was also the first time Jay and I would speak. As soon as we unloaded from the van, I saw Jay standing poolside in front of Hype and his camera. I quickly made my way over to introduce myself. Hey, I'm Yazette, said Chuck's people. Yeah, he said. What's up? Chuck told me you was coming. Come on. You stand by me all day today, and that's what it and that what is. For the rest of the day, I stood as close as possible to Jay. I became acquainted with his entourage, as well as with his partner, Damon Dash. The performer in me was evident throughout the day that I did the most outrageous things possible, like wearing an ultra skimpy string thong bikini, while the other girls proudly sported modest full black back bikinis and one-piece bathing suits. That's why she made that song. This is why we started singing this and that, bitch. I'm screaming. Go listen to the song Nasty by Beyonce. She was talking about current stuff. Anytime somebody got close to Jay-Z, I'm telling you, she wrote a song about them. Y'all just didn't know who she was talking about. I'm fucking screaming. It says, for the rest of the day, I stood as close as possible. Okay, where is it at? It said the atmosphere became tense because me and the other girls almost instantly. The majority of the girls on the video shoots are reserved and are there strictly to do their jobs. As a silent rule, the featured girls never fraternize with the artist, and in many cases, actually look down their noses at the artist. They walked in their heads high, rolling their eyes and sucking their teeth as the artist, and mostly the entourage tried to catch the girls' attention. I seemed to be the only one being chummy with Jay, Damon, and the other girls. I was in my element. These people were acquaintances of Chuck and were aware that I was G-Rap's ex and the mother of his youngest child. Jay took care of me that day, making sure I got good exposure and anything else I needed. The day went well, although it started off unpleasantly for some. By 9 o'clock that morning, Damon Dash had already been drinking. He emerged from that pool house with a bottle of Belvedere vodka, and in his right hand, he was staggering as he was walking alongside the pool where we were shooting. I watched intently, meaning mainly waiting for him to fall into the pool, but he did not. Instead, he fell about 7 feet away from the pool and lay flat on his back with his arms and legs outstretched, vodka still in hand. Damon, are you all right? I went over. Damon. He gave me no answer. I straddled his body while on all fours, leaning my face close to him. To the left of us was the photographer, Arnold Tuner, snapping away with his camera. Finally, Damon stuttered. Yeah, I'm cool. Jay then motioned for someone to get Damon off the ground and off the set. Shooting of the video was halted while Damon got himself together. That was my first introduction to Damon Josh. Years later, he would play a substantial role in changing my life. Jay and I forgot a silent rapport that day, which would continue for years to come. I felt comfortable around him and felt that it was all right for me to accept his invitation to take a ride with him down from the house and onto the beach. We hopped into the back of his chauffeur driven Mercedes S55 and took the windy road back to the shore of Zumba Beach. He asked me if I was doing all right on the first day and briefly asked me about my relationship with G. We counted to talk for a while until his driver parked on the beach and excited the vehicle. After a few moments of silence, Jay pulled out his penis and covered it with a condom and placed it, I can't believe she put this in this book, and placed his hand on the back of my head. And I was being a good girl, thanking him and proving my worthiness of kindness he had shown me. I was doing what I had been taught. We carried on in the car for a while and headed back to the set as if nothing happened. Every once in a while, we shared a glance and a half of a smile. Jay and I would remain acquainted over the next few years as he evolved into one of the most successful and influential players in not only hip hop but pop culture. We bumped into each other on video shoots and events and private gatherings. Unlike some of the others, there were no games, no long phone conversation, no dates. Jay made no professions of love for me, nor did he make any promises. It was all very straightforward. It was what it was and nothing more. Since that day in the car, he remained a gentleman and seemed as if nothing had ever happened between us. And in a way, nothing had. After my initial introduction to the world of hip hop video making, it was a full steam ahead. I began getting calls from the top casting directors in town at least one week. I rarely had to audition for videos and would be hired strictly by past performers on the request from artists. The next day, I was up for cam 1 week after shooting. Hey Papa, this video would prove to be more challenging than the others before because one was for Ja Rule's single Between Me and You. He and I had not spoken since our relationship went sour. I was pretty sure I would not be allowed to stay on set once he saw me, but I did all I could to remain. When I got to the mansion overlooking Malibu, I found I was the first to arrive. There were very few girls and no sign of the crew of the video's director, Dave Myers. I put my thing in his pool house, which was set up in the base camp for the girls, and quickly used the time to work on my already glowing tan from the week before. Wardrobe gave me a white bikini to wear. I took my plot in the sun and lay on my stomach on the closest lounge chair. With the second thought, I undid the top portion of my suit and proceeded to sunbathe without it. As more girls began to arrive on set, along with the label representatives and crew, I could hear the dull roar of whispering. The other girls were appalled and the men were shocked, but definitely not upset by my nudity in any way. I knew that there had been something different about me in order to catch the attention of Dave Myers. It's always a good idea to become the director's favorite and be able to bypass the whole auditioning process and make more money than the other girls in the long run. I had a plan in mind to put its wheels in motion. I had been on set topless for about an hour when the director arrived. The cameraman crew were all set up in the first shoot of the day. Upon seeing my oiled naked breasts glistening in the sun, Dave Myers grabbed his camera and began to film. It was the film magic I gave Dave what he wanted. Just the art of it excited me. Knowing that all the other women hated it heightened, yes, knowing all the other women hated it heightened my excitement and made me want more of this sort of attention. I never really had girlfriends, so the idea of not getting along with other girls on the set was not a deterrent for me. There was always someone trying to compete with me and trying to eliminate me. Girl, story of my life, bitch. It says it started with my mother and continued throughout my adult life. On this particular video shoot, there was another woman who thought she could compete with me. I met her in New York, where she worked alongside with Irv Gotti, CEO Murder Inc. I knew from Irv that she would have been involved. Once Keisha saw that I was on set of Between Me and You, she called Irv and had to have him in hold on. She called Irv and he made his way to the set to tell me I had to leave. He said that there was a rumor that I had a plan to have him robbed. Hold on. To have him and Josh set up and be robbed. The accusations floored me and were totally unfound. I begged him to believe me and let me stay. Irv grabbed me by the arm and escorted me into the SUV and drove me down the hill to a row of trailers and sat me in a sandy patch of land. I began to cry. I didn't want him or Jai, especially to believe that I would have something done to have such a thing done. The truth was that I was with Jai. I was with Murder Inc. I felt as if I had been a part of them. I had a different kind of love for Jai that I will always carry with me, and I didn't want him to think that I would turn on him. I told Gotti that I wouldn't do anything to be able to stay. Do anything. Girl, fuck you. Anyways. Like, what?